Hi, welcome to the garden again. And we're here with Lily, and Lily is in the garden. She has a perfect name for the garden. She doesn't spell it right, but it's okay. We'll let her in anyway. And Lily is an energy healer. And people ask me about that a lot, when I talk to them. And I met Lily in a conversation we had, and I said, would you be willing to come and explain what you do? Because I don't do that, and I always feel awkward explaining what other people do. So this is Lily, and she's going to explain just a little bit about her history as a healer and how she came to the place that she is now.
Hi. So I'm Lilly, obviously. Um, I started out in the healing world basically the day I was born. My mother, Marianne Michaels, is a very, very powerful healer, and it became clear pretty much right after I was born that I was not like other infants and children, and that I kind of picked up her skills. She tells me these crazy stories about how, before I could even speak, if someone came anywhere near me that was mentally ill or was aggressive, they'd be behaving fine on the outside, but I just picked up on their energy and I would react very badly to them. If someone was being really fake with me, I just kind of stare at them until they stopped talking, then they went away. So my mom used to joke. She said I was a blunt Buddha baby when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So when when I was talking to other children my age, I just had knowledge that kids my age were not supposed to have. And so growing up, it was pretty difficult. And I know that a lot of people grow up with these kinds of abilities and they have no one to help them out. I had my mother as a guide, and that made such a big difference in my life. And it was still rough to deal with. So I feel a lot of empathy for people who have really strong psychic or spiritual abilities, and there's no one to kind of steer them in the right direction. So yeah, I started from a really young age. I didn't start doing this full time until actually I was in my mid to late 30s, but I always had, yeah, but I was always a part of this world. So just to go into briefly how this stuff works. So um, most people are aware of their physical body. That's usually what we, connect with as being us. And so that's only one portion of our body, actually. We have a physical body, we have emotional, mental body, and we have an energetic body. And they're all put together in the same package, right? But they all affect each other. So all of them have to be dealt with if we're going to resolve an issue. So that's kind of where I come in. I'm pretty good at zeroing in on what the source of a person's issue is, where it's located, and what needs to be done to take care of it. And then it's not a magic wand. It's uh, kind of like the interaction between a doctor and a patient. There's stuff that the other person has to do. There's stuff that I have to do, and we work together as a team to figure out the best way to handle whatever the problem is. Uh, the simplest way to explain how the universe works, which, as I'm saying that out loud, sounds pretty funny to say out loud, but so we are all part of consciousness, right? And we agreed to come onto this planet in physical form to experience very specific things. So when people ask, what's the meaning of life? Well, you created this life for yourself. You wanted to go through these experiences during this lifetime with these people. So that's why we are here. And when we go from being a energetic being into a physical being, there's a lot of stuff that we forget about who we are. And it's not a bad thing. It's that when we decide to take on the form of a human being, we agree to do that completely. So like we're supposed to fully experience what it is to be a person. So the more and more complicated a life form you become, the more and more, not tricky, well, the more and more complicated things are. So I'm going to explain this properly. So human beings are, well, we're not the best animal on the planet, far from it as far as I can tell. We are the most evolved. So that means that we're capable of doing and creating a lot of really wonderful things that other beings are not. We're also capable of creating a lot of bad things. The universe is all about balance that way. So I have, thanks to my lifetimes of doing this kind of work and having the coaching from my mother, a wide variety of tools that I can use to not only help myself and my loved ones, but help my clients. Anytime we experience anything that feels traumatic, and I say feels traumatic because there is no such thing as a bad circumstance or a bad event or a good circumstance or a good event. What makes it good or bad is how we react to it and the beliefs we carry about it. So when we experience anything that feels too much to handle, that energy gets stored in our energy field. Those emotions get stored in our field and they stay there until they're dealt with. And what that does is that that pattern keeps on drawing the same experiences to you over and over again, so that it brings those emotions up to the surface so that you can deal with it. The problem is that most people don't realize that's happening. So all they know is that they're spending their lifetime being tortured by the same 4 or 5 problems over and over again. So my job is to kind of help people understand why they are stuck where they are, and then give them what they need in order to move forward. So I generally do not give information about the future because it's a little bit it's very flexible. You know, I can only read what's happening right now. So I'm really good at figuring out what happened before. I'm really good at seeing what's going on with a person right now. So that is basically what my job is. I utilize these skills to help as many people as possible to create what we want in our lives versus repeatedly accidentally creating the stuff that we don't want. The universe doesn't understand the concept of don't. It's just whatever it is that you're focusing on, that's what gets drawn to you. So are you thinking, I really don't want this to happen? The universe reads it as, give it to me. So it's really important to pay attention to what thoughts you have come up around certain issues and which thoughts you feed, and which ones that you respond to, because that's literally asking the universe for, you're drawing it all to yourself. We are the source of every experience we have in our lives is either happening because it's something that we agreed to ahead of time, or number 2, that it's something that we're pulling towards us because of what's going on in our field and the beliefs and the emotions that we're still carrying. So that's what I do. I help out people with this stuff. And because we're all built pretty much the same way, there's the same kind of handful of issues that everyone seems to deal with. We have a lot more in common than differences. And that just, it becomes so blatantly obvious the more I do this kind of work. And my favorite part of this kind of work is that every single client that comes to me, I have something in common with them. It's an issue either I have dealt with before and cleared, either in past life or this life, or it is something that I've been working on for a long time and still working on. And so healers and their clients are put together exactly when they're supposed to come together so that they can learn something from each other, helping each other out. So it's great because as I'm healing someone else, stuff in me is getting healed as well. And aside from that, as our energy frequencies get clearer, just by anyone being around us, they automatically start getting let me say that again, they start getting healed as well. So the positivity literally spreads, even if that is not the, even if everyone involved is not doing that on purpose, that's the effect. And I love it. I love doing this work. And I'm very grateful that I have been given the opportunity to do this. So I think that pretty much sums up the energy stuff. Is there any other questions you have?
Okay. Same thing happens if you're a reader. You always get people who you've helped, gone through that, you understand it, or they're bringing up an issue that you go, ouch, ouch. I know that one.
Yeah.
So, and every reader I talk with, we all talk about that phenomena that you're always sent people that every time you do a reading, it reflects as much on who and where you are as it does the person that's coming to you. And I also agree with you about people are like, they think that we do predictive readings. We don't always do predictive readings. What we can say is, this is the pattern you've created.
Yes.
And the only way to get a new pattern in your life is to not focus on the old problems and to walk past them so you can let something new in your life. I always tell people when they're writing their intentions list, don't put in there, I don't want any other guys in my life like the last three, because the next one you get is going to be all three of them all put together. I mean,
Exactly. The
it
universe
does not
gives us
work that way.
exactly what we need, and it's not necessarily what we want.
Yeah, and it's more or less, to and you can't write it like I want change because I really, really hated what happened before. It has to be a different energy because what you're saying is you're still hanging on to what happened before.
Exactly.
So anyway, so that's what you do. So what specific services do you offer?
So I do basic energy clearing healing sessions that involve spiritual counseling. So kind of walking people through how this stuff works and how to deal with their issues. I also have these really cool tools. I should have grabbed them before I started this interview so I could show it on camera, but I have these lasers that are infused with very specific energy frequencies. One is for pain and inflammation, and the other one is for infections and viruses. Now, little quick story. I was in a really bad car accident when I was younger, and my mother, aside from doing healing work, started using the red laser for pain and inflammation on me. I actually grew back part of my spine, and that is not supposed to happen. That's not supposed to be possible. So when I started doing healing work full time, I thought, well, I have to use these for my clients. So that's an extra added thing that I can do. There's also something called Tong Ren acupuncture, and it's not strictly acupuncture, though an acupuncturist did invent it. It's a certain way of clearing and connecting with different points in the body, similar to acupuncture, but the way they're put together is a little bit differently because it's not just resolving the physical issue, it's resolving energetically and emotionally what is causing all of it. So I do that remotely. And so that is another thing that I do. Those sessions tend to last longer. They're very intense and powerful, and I do enjoy doing them. I also offer healing services for pets. And that obviously there's no counseling involved with that. There's just straight energy work. And then afterwards, I just send a summary to the pet's owner about what I picked up on and what I did. I also do medicine card readings. I just started offering that this year. To make a long story short, we had a giant, massive planetary shift at the end of last year. And so this year I have greatly expanded the things that I'm offering and the price ranges, because as we're going through this transition, I want to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to get the healing and the help that they need. So that's why I've been adding in all these extra things so that there's something kind of for everyone. Lastly, this year, I also started offering CBD products, vegan and gluten-free CBD products. They're gluten-free because I'm allergic to wheat, so I can't handle it. They're vegan because that's the kind of diet that I eat. And also I have a lot of clients and family members that have allergies to things like eggs, dairy. So just in order to make things as palatable for everyone, that firmly seems to work the best. So the thing about CBD products is that anything that contains hemp oil and cannabinoids can be called CBD, but you don't know what strain you're getting. Number two, you don't know how strong it is or exactly what its effects are supposed to be. So after my car accident, I ended up with severe pain and arthritis at age 18. As soon as I turned an adult, my body got wrecked. And the only thing that really seemed to help was finding the right kind of CBD companies. So prescription painkillers are horrible for you, horrible side effects, they're addicting. Over-the-counter stuff, also not great for you, and really not that effective if you have anything serious going on. So I started off by making these products for myself, and they worked so great. and I had a light bulb click over my head. This is a perfect thing that I can add into my healing work, because not everyone can afford to get a healing every day, but we have stuff that happens to us every day that we could use some help with. So the CBD products not only have the effect of CBD, but they're also infused with energy frequencies specifically for that person's issues so that they can continue to get healing throughout the week in between sessions with me. And that was really, really important to me, that everyone gets the assistance that they need, regardless of what their situation is financially, what their schedule is like, all of that. And so the company I buy my stuff from is called Chief. They're based in California. But they do have growers in Oregon as well. And it's all vegan. It's mostly organic. And they have over 30 different varieties of strains to choose from. And that's why I love them, because you can go there and get the strain that works specifically for the issues that you have. So after experimenting, I found 2 different strains that pretty much encompass all of the issues that my clients and my friends and family have. I turn that into a concentrated oil, and I use that oil to make edibles. There is cookies and there are nuts. I also make CBD bath products. I have bath salts. I am working on refining my formula for a salt scrub. And then I sell the concentrated CBD oil directly itself. And the 2 strains are called Hawaiian Haze and Cherry Wine. Hawaiian Haze is very calming. It's very soothing. It's very good for people who have anxiety. But like other CBD stuff, it works really well for pain relief and digestive problems as well. The cherry wine is very energizing. So that's for people who are more low energy, who have a lot of depression. The cherry wine is also very, very strong for pain relief. So I have 2 clients that work with and on horses for a living. They get beat up. They get beat up really, really bad. And so they use the salt products and also concentrated CBD oil. All you do is rub it into whatever it hurts. I'm not saying this to promote myself. I'm saying this because when you're someone who's dealt with chronic pain, when you finally find something that works, it's like the biggest, oh my God, thank you moments ever. So I work so hard to make sure that this stuff is effective as possible. I am the guinea pig. I make sure that everything works perfectly. I see how it affects me physically, what it does energetically, what it does emotionally. And so I love that I was given guidance to make this stuff, because it has made such a difference in my life and such a difference in other people's lives. And this year I've been so grateful at the way the universe has really pushed me very, very physically into the directions that I've gone in. And I'm still expanding. I'm still creating whatever I can to help people, because that's what my passion. It's literally, it's what I'm built to do, you know? And we're all here on this planet for basically the same handful of reasons. And I wish people understood how connected we are and how similar we are and how much we affect each other energetically and emotionally. If we start paying attention to the energy and emotions that we're holding when we're out in public, you'll notice how differently people will interact with you, not by the actions that you take, but just literally internally, whatever it is that you're holding. You can heal an entire room full of people by just sitting there. And I love that that's the way things work. I love how interconnected everything is. I love how all these puzzle pieces have been coming together, especially since this planetary transition. So thank you for this opportunity for me to kind of share what I do. Because this is such an integral part of my existence, I want to share this with as many people as I can. I want to be able to continue doing this basically until the day I die. I'm never quitting. I'm not going to stop. I'm just going to keep doing my best to heal people, heal myself, help them grow, help myself grow. This is this is what life's all about. It's about using the gifts that you have and making the
Mhm.
world better somehow with the stuff that you're passionate about.
Well, I can totally relate to that because I was telling somebody who was coming over and talking to me about grids, someone who actually lives here. I was physically talking to a person, not over a Zoom call. And she said, well, how'd you get started in doing this? And I said, well, I've been reading cards since I was 12, but where I found out grids worked was I did what you did. I practiced on myself. And when it worked for me, I thought, well, that's kind of interesting. And then other people said, well, can you do that for me? And it's amazing once you put that energy out in the world, how it just feeds back. And that's what I want to give people a chance who haven't had the opportunity to have a channel, because I know there are people on YouTube that they only have people on YouTube who also have a YouTube thing. And I think they're just some people that what they do doesn't require a YouTube thing. It requires some of the stuff you've got. If you've got an Instagram, you've got a Twitter, you've got Facebook. I'm going to put all that in the comments below so you all can find Lilly and, correspond with her and figure out if maybe what you're working with or where you're headed is something that goes along with her, because we are in an enormous shift. And some of it started in 2018 when we left the part of the universe that protected us from the photons and the neutrinos, but now we're really spinning into a whole lot of new space, and we're reacting differently, and we need to try and figure out all the best ways to deal with it. And I know energy healing is really going to be an interesting new way. And I think that in part that was what COVID was about, was separating us so that we could learn that we didn't need to be in the same space with someone to benefit from what they knew. Just didn't have to be the same 30 people you ran into in your life. It sort of spun us out and made us have to find new friends. So this is my new friend, Lilly. And if do you have anything to say in closing? Because like I said, all the ways people can meet you, I think you've done a good job of explaining energy healing, all the ways that they can reach you or touch you or read about you. I'll have those in the comments below, and just encourage people to try it. She did send me a cookie of each kind and some nuts. And I don't CBD, well, in general, I'm from the hippy dippy generation, but marijuana I could never use because I had crappy lungs. And edibles is sort of something that's new for me. And I'm never sure if they're really working or not, because I live in such a strange space anyway. So, but her stuff was very good. I mean, it tasted great. So if
One thing
nothing
I
else.
forgot to mention, the CBD stuff that I make has no THC in it, so it's legal in all 50
Oh
states.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I want to make sure that I say that so that people
She
know.
did send it to me in Texas, where we have a beloved governor who's doing everything he can to keep all that sort of stuff out of here. But
THC in me, like I don't react well to THC at all. I
yeah,
hate it, but I really, really needed something to help me with the physical issues that I was
mhm.
having. So that's why I like CBD, because you get all the benefits, but then you can still actually function during the day, which is
Yeah,
really
and
important.
you're not gonna get busted every time you leave your house, which is also a positive. Although you live in
New Jersey.
New Jersey, yeah, because I figured the NJ on your thing wasn't for Nancy Jean. I figured,
No.
I wasn't gonna be that honored. But anyway, well, I want to really thank you for showing up today, Lilly, and talking to us, because like I said, my channel is here to educate people about all different sorts of ways to deal with things. And I really think people should look at energy healing more closely and get to know more about it. And I hope that, and I've done grids for some of Lilly's clients, and they've all been interesting people, gotta admit that much. And
Yes, all
people who
characters.
seem, and yeah, people who very much seem to be getting in control of things. So I hope that wraps it up for you. And I will look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. My show will be on, I'll be on with Andrea, Danny Shea, Bathrobe Tarot, and a couple other people. Were doing an Earth Day thing on her channel on Lilac Lantern. And then after that, my plans are not definite. I'm building grids this week, so I'm a little flaky. And and all my grid people, I'm building your grids. I promise I'm going to have them all together by Friday and stuck in the mail Saturday. So talk to everybody later. Take care. Bye from the garden.